Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. Our current session focuses on the rigidity of the social matrix. I hope and expect by the end of this session you would be able to understand what does it mean. Well, my dear students, even when we think of the larger aspects of the social and cultural context that may act as a constraint on whether features of language one or the speakers of language one would transfer from that to the speakers of language two, there are certain constraints that are found, and there are certain social constraints that do not allow that. For example, Gumpers and Wilson, 1971, documented the unusual linguistic situation in Kapur, India. Well, in Kapur, three languages, Hindi, Marathi, and Kannada, have been used for centuries. And actually, people switch from one language to the other in their day-to-day lives. They would speak Hindi and they would speak Marathi and they would speak Kannada, switching from one to the other and back to the first one. However, it is very important, still each of these three has remained a completely separate language or a separate code. They have not been, affected much or influenced much by each other in terms of linguistic change. So it is always clear when someone is speaking Marathi or Hindi or Kannada, you can clearly distinguish each of these three. People in Kapur haven't borrowed lexical items back and forth from the other two varieties, though, it is repeatedly noted that vocabulary is usually easily transferred. But in this case, of these three examples, vocabulary items are not borrowed from each other. The Hindi, Marathi, and Kannada of Kapur look appreciably different from each other, and they are coexisting as separate varieties. Now the question arises why it is so. It is actually what we may call rigidity of the social matrix. Actually, it is the social system and the rigidity or the fixity of the social system that does not allow that to happen. If we notice, there have been some subtle changes to the syntax of the three languages over the times, which have, brought them closer in line with each other, but their identities are retained. Here on the screen, if you see, you would find some examples. If you look at the screen, "This is your house" is a sentence that I have taken, and I would show you its varieties in all these languages. In standard Kannada, it is this way: Idonim mana. In Kapur, Kannada, if you see, of course I cannot pronounce it exactly, but you can see the difference. And you can see the addition of this eti that I would like to discuss. In Kapur Marathi, again, the variety is completely different. And in Kapur Urdu, it is tumhare, ye tumhara ghar hai. This one. It is still different. These examples show that the words for, house and for your, they remain different in all these varieties of language. However, the Kapur variety of Kannada also differs from standard Kannada. Standard Kannada does not have an overt copula verb, what we call be, in existential sentences. However, Kannada spoken in Kapur has created one, which has resulted in what, I have earlier pointed out as, a T. The result of this is to make it look closer to Hindi and Marathi, which also have a copula, which is pronounced as hai. So, Gumpers and Wilson noted that each of the languages spoken here are strongly associated with different social classes, with different social castes. And the rigidity of the social matrix works in such a way that the social matrix or the social system does not allow these castes to, to come that much closer where, their languages would affect each other. A person's caste is determined through, a person's, abilities, what one can do and what one cannot do. And this is also about the linguistic ability in terms of using language. Gumbers and Wilson believe that despite the enough contact between the castes, where, people learn each other's languages, because this difference of high caste and the low caste, the social differences, there are, though there are opportunities of this shift of, different features from one group to the other, but because each social system operates differently and separately, and the rigidity of this system of castes does not allow people to intermingle, much, the result is that this linguistic contact does not happen in a way where the languages would merge. And, this contact is very limited. Why? Because the contact-induced convergence in Kapwar and the community, does not allow that to happen. It's more like a superficial division of languages. This particular caste would speak this particular language, that particular caste would speak that particular language. And the issues of identity are closely knit with both caste and language choice simultaneously. There are certain intergroup factors as well. And actually these intergroup factors, as I have already mentioned, are mainly based on the caste system, which is not, only at this time. We can historically trace that. And what happens in the case of these speakers, that despite their, the availability or the access to the codes, there is a rigidity of the social matrix that does not allow that this access to the codes would change their language.